Hey everyone, good morning. Happy Monday. It's Rebecca Undem. You are watching, just tuning in to Rebecca Undem Live. This is the weekly Facebook show where we tackle one small topic, one day a week to try and move the needle for you in your life. And so I'm going to just do a quick intro as you guys are joining me or coming on live. My name is Rebecca Undem. I'm the author of a book called How Mommy Got Her Groove Back. And I help ambitious women in small towns live big. And how I do that is through these Facebook Lives every single Monday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, and through my Facebook group, which is a free community called the Groove Seekers Community. I'll be posting a link to that as well at the end here. Good morning, Annie. Hi, it's nice to see you. And then through our private membership group called Groove School, where we focus really on putting the things we talk about on these Facebook Lives into practice, because of course, all of the best information does nothing unless we use it, right? So that is what my jam is all about. I'm all about the groove. And I am feeling pretty damn groovy today, if we're going to be honest about things. First of all, I'm wearing camouflage. And I will just tell you, for you ladies joining, so we got Anna, good morning, Anna, and Tamara, good morning. My husband made just straight up fun of me when I bought this t-shirt. It's just from Target, it's nothing special. I love this little camo t-shirt, and he is just like, he doesn't get it. But you know what? A lot of the things I do, my husband doesn't get, and I don't do things just solely for him. So I'm rocking my camo today, feeling kind of good about that. And the sun is shining, holy balls. And I think there's a chance it may like breach 40 degrees today. So it just feels like we're maybe on the downside of this freaking winter that hasn't ever ended. So that's what's happening with me this morning. How are you guys all doing as you're joining? Are you feeling energetic today? Are you feeling, is it a Monday? Is it like a womp Monday? Because I get that happens too. But amen, Tamara, like to the weather. Oh my gosh, right? We need good weather so bad. Annie said it's like Jamaica weather. It almost makes me feel as giddy as if I was going on a warm weather vacation, it's sad, but whatever. It is what it is. So it's good. It's all good. So today on Rebecca Undem Live, as you guys are coming on, we're talking about something that I think is really freaking important. I think all of these topics are important. I wouldn't pick them if I didn't think they had some relevance for all of you. But today we're really specifically going to talk about the word hustle. I don't know, guys, we're not going to get into the topic quite yet, but this month, by the way, is all about motivation. Okay. So I put a theme around every single month. So all the Facebook Lives will have that theme. And then the following month in Groove School, we'll have the same theme. So really the goal is that we talk about all of these topics 4 Mondays or 5 Mondays in a row, depending on how many Mondays there are in the month. And then the following month in Groove School, we put the stuff into actual practice. Get down and dirty with the stuff. So it's good, right? Motivation. I picked motivation for April because I think this is that time of the year where it's really easy to feel slumpy. I have felt I don't feel slumpy today. Like I think the fog is lifting and I'm like coming out of it. But again, for me, it's part seasonal affect disorder, faux show. Like I seriously have a problem with the winter. But I think too, it's like a whole quarter goes by and you get to this point where you feel like, shit, I haven't done any of the things I said I wanted to do, or you haven't just made the progress that you wanted to make. So I thought April, we could focus on motivation, right? So this word hustle, which is the topic for today, it really is hustle actually necessary? So we're going to talk about this because if you guys have spent any amount of time working with me on anything, like if you've listened to any of the Facebook Lives, or if you're in Groove School, or if you've listened to me speak, you know that my approach, I want to challenge women to reach their full potential, but I also want you to give yourself, and I will heap on just a load of grace. Because I think ultimately most of the women that I work with are too damn hard on themselves, okay? So I want to talk a little bit today about hustle and if that's actually doing more harm for us than good. Like, is it really necessary? Okay, so we're going to get into it in just a minute here. So I'm going to see Jessie. Hey, good morning. She says, we had snow for the 3rd weekend in a row. Oh, that is so boo. She said, tired of 80s and snow on back-to-back days. So she's in Kansas. Jessie's in Kansas. 80s, Jessie, we haven't had the 80s since Well, what, guys? Anybody Nodak friends since like August? I mean, did it get to the 80s in September? I mean, shit, it's been that long. So, but yeah, I probably wouldn't do well with the swings either. So hopefully your snow melts off, Jesse, and you can actually enjoy some spring. Hey, Nicole, she says, morning's definitely a Monday, but the sun's out. Okay, I agree. So with that, let's get into this topic. So again, I always say, if you guys know people that you think would love to hear this topic or want to weigh in on us, on this live with us, please, by all means, share the video out so we can get some more peeps talking about this. Because I will tell you this, I don't just do these videos every single Monday morning so I can pontificate by myself, right? If you guys didn't come and kind of give me your perspective on it, tell me how these things are affecting you, A, it wouldn't really matter, and B, I also wouldn't really know what other things to continue to provide to you. So your participation and you guys showing up means everything. Okay, so hustle, the word hustle. I will tell you that I was raised by a fourth generation farmer. My father is a fourth generation farmer. My mom was born in Wisconsin. Originally, her family moved here when she was about 13. Her parents owned a cheese factory in Wisconsin. And then when they moved here, they bought a Main Street business. It was the Ben Franklin store. It was just one of those giant mecca craft stores. It was just an amazing store in our little town at the time. And so my parents both came from the kind of stock, I come from the kind of stock where we work really freaking hard. Amen. Anybody does that resonate at all with any of you? Like, I look at my parents and they are two of the hardest working people that I know without question. But along with that, they have very few hobbies. Now, okay, they're getting there right now as I speak. They are in Holland, which is wonderful. Like, I'm just so proud that they're finally kind of doing some of those things. But when I was growing up, and even just on the regular, my parents' downtime is working. Like, working is relaxing for them somehow, right? So I grew up with that push, work. I don't naturally know how to relax. Also partly personality. And again, like, anybody just be like, okay, so Flo's like, amen. If you guys relate to this, I would love like amens, praise hands up. I also, being super type A, that also doesn't lend itself very well. I mean, I'm a perfectionist. I'm a control freak. This is just all the things that really get in my way of learning how to relax. And so hi Glow, it's nice to see you. So when Gary V hit the stage, Tamara says retirement will mean one job. Yeah, can you even imagine? Oh my gosh. So when Gary Vaynerchuk, when he came kind of on the scene, and he is an entrepreneur, like on fire kind of guy, right? I don't know if any of you have ever followed Gary Vee, but he is all about the hustle, right? And he lives in New York and he works like a crazy person. And again, his advice, this advice, frankly, you take it or leave it, right? We've got to listen to what all of the gurus say and then figure out, does this really fit for me or does it not? But I think Gary Vee was the one to kind of coin the hustle. It's all about the hustle. Like, you've got to work so hard and you're not going to eat and you're not going to sleep and you're not going to see your family and all that stuff. And I question, is that really necessary? And having grown up with a family that already kind of bends in that direction, and now I have children and I've got a business that I'm trying to build and trying to create, I question, is hustle really necessary? Okay, so I think there's three ways that the idea of hustling all the time, it seriously holds us back. And before I share these, I do want to say, for any of you, Annie's got her hand up too, like, amen. For any of you that are starting a business, or this is not exclusive to entrepreneurs by any means at all. This is anybody that has kind of that high drive to accomplish stuff. And maybe it's personal stuff. Maybe it's you want to set the world on fire with your community. I don't know what you're given proclivity to ambition. I don't know where you're funneling all your ambition. But for any of us that have a lot of it, we fall prey to all of these things. And I guess the other thing I want you to know is that a certain degree of hustle is certainly necessary, especially at the beginning. Anybody that has ever built something from nothing. So whether that was like you made a dream come true in your community, or like me, you're trying to build a business, there are going to be times where you make sacrifices of your time, sacrifices of your energy. You're going to have to say no to certain things to focus and get work done. That's just natural. But we are talking now about the hustle that never stops, you don't sleep, you sacrifice eating, and essentially you sacrifice yourself for the sake of whatever it is that you're hustling after. Okay, that is by definition what we're talking about. So here are the 3 ways that I think, and then I've seen this for myself, I've seen this for other people, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts as we kind of go through these one by one, okay? All right, the very first one is that we lose sight of the target. We can become so consumed with chasing the dream that it actually, the focus of all of our attention and energy becomes the achievement instead of what it is that we're actually trying to get. So it becomes like the hustle becomes a goal in and of itself. Okay, and so how I really think this comes in for us, and I'll just share with you guys. So this weekend, and I shared this in my business page. Again, like normally my weekends, I hustle all weekend. I mean, I relax a little bit, but again, I'm not good at relaxing. And so this weekend, I have been feeling. I see a chiropractor, my Nicole, my buddy, in here in Oaks, and the stress that my body is kind of going through right now is significant. Okay, so some of it's financial stress. Taxes were a bitch this year. I'm just like wired to be crazy. I don't know what else to say. Like it's 100% what it is. So my body stress is it's a serious thing. Like I'm taking an adaptogen and I'm doing all these things to try and calm down. I'm really like revealing my crazy to you ladies this morning. Hopefully you're like, oh my gosh, like she is nuts. I'm a little bit nuts. So this weekend comes around. My husband had taken the boys. They were gone for the weekend. It was just me and my daughter. My daughter is 3.5. She takes a solid 2-hour nap on a good day, right, in the afternoon. And so this Saturday, I was sitting there and just feeling like, oh my God, I should do this and I should do that. And I should really get up. And I have so much stuff to do. Like I never have a shortage of things to do, which I'm sure you guys agree. And I decided, screw that. I just need to do something that is enjoyable. So finally, I rented the movie, The Greatest Showman. Okay, I want to hear from any of you if you've seen it, what you thought of it. I had wanted to see that movie from the second it came out. My husband is not a musical guy, and I knew it was a musical because the music's fantastic. And he was like, I don't want to see that. So I hadn't ever taken the time. Well, finally, it was on video on demand, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is how I'm going to relax today. So I rented that movie on Saturday, and my wearied, kind of battered soul needed that movie. And it also reinforces this first point. So Sarah said she watched it 3 times and currently watching her daughter dance to the soundtrack. It is a phenomenal movie. Truly. So I'll just say, if you guys haven't watched it, get it. So Glow says it's on her list. Seriously, it's good. So I'm going to tell you how I really think the premise of that movie reinforces this first point of how we lose sight of the target. So I'm not gonna spoil. It's no spoiler alert here or anything, but there comes a point where you know what the movie's about. It's about P.T. Barnum and his start of his circus, and there comes a point where he really has to hustle. He came from nothing, and obviously there's an arc of the story where things kind of go awry, or there needs to be conflict in every story, right? And in that story, without sharing all the details, he loses sight of what it was that he was trying to accomplish in the first place, because he got so obsessed with winning, with the hustle. And he almost lost everything that actually mattered to him. So that is the first way that I think this focus on constantly hustling is we lose sight of what we're really trying to accomplish. And that's why, again, when I work with my members in Groove School, my Groove Schoolers, as I call them, I ask the question all the time, but what do you really want? Because I think sometimes, again, this goes back to motivation. It's externally motivated stuff. Like you want to be thin. Why do you want to be thin? You just keep asking that question, why? But why do you want to be thin? But why do you want to be thin? You'll find that you keep answering that over and over and over, and you're going to get down to some real root cause that a lot of times is an external motivation. And we can't make changes for ourselves based on external motivation alone, right? At least it's not going to be sustainable. So the first way that the hustle holds us back is that we lose sight of the target, of what we're really trying to accomplish. Okay, and then see The Greatest Showman. We'll just put that in there. Okay, number 2, we fail to innovate. So the idea of innovation, for me, again, I think of that as being somewhat synonymous with creativity. Everybody, everywhere, in our homes, in our businesses, in our communities, in our schools, we need creativity. And I think, and I'm actually going to focus, creativity is the monthly theme coming up here, maybe June, I think it's June, for Facebook Lives here, for these, because again, I think that's one of those things that a couple things. I don't want to, we won't get into creativity. I can't help myself. I want to jump ahead and do that. But creativity is important. It matters in all areas of life. But creativity requires white space. And by white space, I mean space in your schedule, space in your mind, space in your soul, space in your heart. Creativity cannot come to fruition with an overfilled schedule and an overfilled mind. When we are too full of whatever it is that we have filled that plate with, there isn't white space left, and creativity and inspiration cannot grow and cannot blossom. And so interestingly enough, we think that we're doing ourselves so many favors by hustle, and just putting our head down and plowing through stuff, regardless of what it's doing to ourselves. We think that we're doing everything right, but essentially we aren't, your mind can't be open. You're not seeing other perspectives. You're probably not getting feedback from anywhere. And creativity needs white space. So if you want to innovate and you want to do things more efficiently instead of just faster, and also in a kind of a nuanced way, right? Who doesn't want to have new perspectives? You need to not hustle. You need to have some space in your life to allow that to happen, okay? Number 3, and probably the most obvious, and the one that anybody that has felt this pull to constantly hustle will probably connect with the most, is just straight up burnout. Our sleep, I have a sleep consultant. My buddy Annie Schlacht owns a sleep consultancy business, Zen Sleep Consulting. I'm going to give her a little plug right here. It is, she talks about how damn important sleep is. It's the foundational piece of our health. And so when the message is coming across to you that if you want to build something, you need to sacrifice sleep for it. Holla, right, Annie? Yeah, sacrifice sleep for it. Stay up all night. And, I'm going to say that I can understand the difficulty of this for somebody trying to start. So if you start your business as a side hustle, you've got a full-time job, you've got a family, those hours of rest and respite really are your only time to build. But if you are working until 1 or 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning to try and accomplish this thing, burnout is inevitable for you, because nobody is their best self when they're that short of sleep. So sleep is one thing. So your social well-being is another thing. We are social creatures. We are not meant to work 20 out of the 24 hours a day. And so this workaholic thing, this belief that if we just gut our way through things again and hustle, that we're going to come out on top, losing all of your friends, losing that connection with the people that love you, what are you really going to have at the end of all of that hustling? So maybe you've achieved your goal, but to what end and to what expense? What are the casualties that you have lost along the way? And oftentimes it's that your social connections. So focusing all the time on going. You've got to stop and think to yourself, what am I giving up? What am I missing? And this is I will say again, it's not like I'm so well traveled, but I think all of us as Americans, we tend to know that we suck at this worse than any other country in the world. I mean, historically, and it's because we're a capitalistic society, and I have nothing wrong. I'm all about capitalism. But I just think when it comes to you building something of your own and believing that the only way to get it is to sacrifice everything that you care about, we have forgotten what really matters. And so that's why one of the things I always suggest women do is to get clear about what they actually value. Because as long as you get clear about that, everything that you choose to do, if you filter it through, does this align and support these values or not? It makes those decisions so much easier. So ultimately, what I want to remind you all is there is a significant difference between having a good work ethic and hustling. And I don't know what you guys think, but based on all of this, do you think the hustle is really necessary? Because again, I'll just recap. The 3 ways that it holds us back is that hustling, we lose sight of the target. We lose sight of what it is that we're actually trying to accomplish, and we almost become the hustle becomes the goal. And that is, it's crazy. Again, and this is, you fall like into it if you're kind of wired this way, okay? Number 2, we fail to innovate. Creativity needs white space. And when we're so full up with the hustle, we don't have any space for new ideas to emerge, to brainstorm, to generate new things and new thoughts. And then number 3, it's just burnout. Our social, our physical, our emotional, our mental health and well-being fails because it's not the priority, right? We are focused on getting things done instead of taking care of ourselves first. So I would love to hear from you guys as you're thinking about this. Is this something that you think is a societal thing? Do you think we're swinging the other way? Because I kind of do. Some of the groups that I'm a part of, we're talking about this more. And I think that's really important. This isn't something, because I don't want to see people achieve their biggest financial dreams and then die of either a heart attack or flipping exhaustion, So then what? What good did that actually do you, right? And ultimately, too, any of you that are parents that are watching, this is something we're modeling for our children. And I already told you the family I grew up in, they modeled for me that work was fun. I mean, not fun, but that was their fun. That was their only outlet. They didn't have hobbies. And just now, my dad will be 72 this year. My mom is 8 years younger. They're getting serious about traveling. I don't want to wait until I'm 72. And I get that traveling, there's an expense to that. But damn, if I'm not going to figure out how to make that happen, right? So as you guys go about your week, I encourage you to really think about where you fall, with this whole topic. Is hustling something that you are susceptible to? And what are you going to do? How are you going to manage that so that you keep self-care? And self-care is not massages and pedicures. I get so annoyed when that's what people think of. I'm talking sleep. I'm talking mental well-being, emotional well-being, just taking care of everything that has to be there in order for you to have any sort of fulfillment at all, okay? So with that, I'm going to say groove on, don't hustle on, and I'm going to remind you of just a couple things. First of all, the Groove Seekers community, join us there if you want to jam more about some of these things that we talk about on Rebecca Undem Live. Secondly, the wallpaper, the monthly wallpaper, I theme it according to what we're talking about here, so it's just that extra little hit of inspiration. This month's wallpaper I love because I love all of them. I love the fact that you can look it up and it just reminds you of one simple thing to think about that day. And then the third thing is that Force of Habit, the 5-day virtual training that I'm offering, starts today, and you can still get in on it if you haven't yet. So Force of Habit is just 5 days. The videos and worksheets are delivered via email, and then we do a live call, one live call every single day during these 5 days. And basically what you're going to learn is a framework for setting powerful daily habits so that you can actually move the needle, and like no hustle required. These are simple, these are small, and they are doable. And then the cool thing is once we get done with this week, you'll have this framework that you can use in all the other areas of your life. But this week you'll get actual coaching from me on the process. You'll be able to ask any questions. There's going to be a group dedicated to it. So by all means, if that sounds like something you need or want in your life, which frankly, I think we all do, you can still get in on that, okay? So before we go, I'm going to just quick check and see what our message say. Annie says, such a great message. That work ethic is great. She loves the mantra, work to live, don't live to work. And I think the other thing I should say about that, Annie, that you're bringing up for me is that millennials, so this is going to shift because millennials are not going to put up with the shit, okay? They are not going to be workaholics and slaves to their jobs. So that's also going to create a lot of conflict between our veteran employees that like grew up thinking that being a slave to their job was okay. And it's not that I don't want to say that it's not okay, but I think there's some detrimental fallout if we don't pay attention. So yeah, the millennials, it's all about work. It's all about work to live. Like it is a means to an end. And like, again, I said, my parents working, they worked all day, all the time. And that was what they did for a hobby. And sometimes I think that's why it leads to my feelings of like unworthiness with my mom and dad. And again, that's deep stuff. We don't need to go there. But Mary says, love the question. What are you going to have at the end of reaching your goal? If you lose everything while hustling to reach your goal, then what's the point? And I just think that if you are an ambitious person, sometimes achievement, like whatever, that kind of hamster wheel, that feels really good right away. And then suddenly that becomes the thing that you're so laser focused on that you forgot why the hell you got on the wheel in the first place. You forget. So yeah, I love that too. Tamara says, oh my gee, I've spent the last 10 years in hustle. And oh, I love this. She said, thus the pivot/leap of faith she just took a little over 2 weeks ago. The struggle now is a fear that you'll fall right back into it. Absolutely. But you're in groove school, Tamara, so you don't need to worry about that. We'll help you. We'll help you stay the course. So great reminder of what your goal is. And I would say that too, if you're in the middle of this, you feel like you're right in the middle of this hustle and you feel like, I don't really know how to get off, carve out at least an hour. Go somewhere where you are not going to be bothered by anybody. Get out a blank piece of paper and answer the question, why did I start this? Whatever it is that you're doing. And then say, what do I really want? And then once you write that down, answer the question, why? Why do I really want that? And answer, why do I really want that, until you feel like you have exhausted every possible reason you're pursuing that goal. It will get you down to the gut, like the core truth of why it matters to you. Okay? So even if you feel right now like you're stuck in the hustle, you are not stuck there. You can get out. Do that simple process. Journal, get it out of your head, get it down on paper. And then schedule a visit with somebody that you love and you can trust with that serious work, and talk it out with somebody and make a new plan. Okay? All right, ladies, thank you so much for joining and kind of lending your voices to the topic today. The hustle isn't worth it, I don't think. So if you ask me, the question is it really necessary? I say it's absolutely not. You're going to need to make some sacrifices and exchanges early on in the pursuit of a goal, but long term, if you have anything else that you care about, you better figure out a way to keep them on your radar, okay? So Kristen says, another author she really likes on this topic's been talking about it too. Oh, awesome. She provided a link. I'm going to totally check that out. Fantastic. Thanks, Kristen. Love that. I love it when you guys do that. I'm not the sole like knower of all the things. I honestly, seriously, you guys, I love it when you guys share extra resources with each other. That's awesome. I can't wait to read it. Thank you so much. Okay, so I will post the links for all the things we talked about. If you guys have any thoughts or questions or, anything that you want to jam about, you know how to find me, but would love to have you at a minimum over in the Groove Seekers community where we just get a little deeper on some of these topics. Okay. All right. Love you guys. Have an awesome day. Hope your week is fantastic. And until I see you next Monday, groove on. Okay. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.